This UFO or orb video was presented on the TV show Beyond Skinwalker Ranch. It's a time-lapse video sped up about 80 times, so we see what looks like a bunch of planes flying past in the night sky. But this one object here was described as
what seems to be an unidentified aerial phenomenon.
And MUFON investigator Steve Priola said,
that's a telltale sign that it's not an aircraft, it's not a satellite. It eliminates all man-made objects.
Journalist Paul Bibbin said,
that pattern of movement just makes no sense at all.
Look at the...
So we might well ask, as ex-CIA agent Andy Bustamante did,
what on earth could that have been? That fits all the definitions of what Eric and Travis want us looking for when we are on these investigations. Change in direction, change in speed. It does not fit the normal behavioral profile of an aircraft or a satellite. I mean, that is unique. That's not an insect. No. That's not any kind of natural phenomenon. That's not any kind of natural animal.
Yeah, that thing sort of breaks the mold.
I recognize this as simply a plane flying towards the camera. You can see the nav lights, which sometimes alternate like this. The wiggly path is a bit odd, but not unheard of, especially for a smaller plane. Since it's flying towards us, there's perspective compression which makes it seem slower, and even slight course corrections get greatly magnified. So what was it? If we had the date, time and location, the details, we could look it up. But all we can tell from the show is that it's in the Florida Everglades at an uncertain date and time. The Skinwalker production people try to remove all timestamps from the screen, blurring them out, but occasionally they miss some. Here we briefly see the date, February the 14th, 2024, so that's a good start. It's just the time a screenshot was taken, but it seems to be from the same night, so we know the date, if not the time. The location is harder. The Florida Everglades is a big place, and I spent some time looking around trying to find a match for the pond or lake that's briefly shown. But then I looked at a previous episode, seemingly in the same location, and I saw this distinctive-looking swamp buggy. I did a bit of reverse image searching, and in a few minutes I found the exact buggy. It's owned by Dusty the Wild Man Crumb, a semi-regular on History and Discovery, so that all seems to fit. He mentioned the Big Cypress National Preserve, which was way to the northwest of where I'd been looking. He also mentioned the Oasis Visitor Center, so that seemed like a good place to start. I posted a few images from the episode to Metabunk, and people started to look. First, NorCal Dave noticed that the buggy ride seemed to happen some distance from the visitor center, so the search area widened. But then, Monkey Sage found a gate which was a close match. Comparing the street views proved it was the same place. Following a short trail led to a building by a pond which matched the overhead shots. We got it. All that was needed then was to find the actual planes. We lacked a precise time, but they were fairly distinctive paths, so it didn't take Flarkey very long to find a candidate. N147BZ, an older, small, twin-engine PA-34. Looking at the track from a shallow angle, we saw it was wiggling a bit. This quickly led to finding other planes that matched the other lights. We then dropped them all into SITREC, my open-source UOP analysis tool, and after a bit of fiddling with the playback speed and the barometric versus GPS altitudes, it lined up perfectly. And with the wiggling path, it's perhaps one of the best matches I've ever seen. Perfect. It's this plane, 100%. So what are we to make of this? Clearly, this group of investigators are not very good at investigating. They were there. They had the advantage of knowing the exact date, time, location, and direction, but they don't seem to understand perspective, so they seem to get convinced it's not a plane. They probably didn't even check. The show is full of this type of thing, lights in the sky that are obviously planes or satellites or occasionally insects. The investigators continue to be really bad at looking things up, so they seem convinced that these are UFOs or orbs, perhaps summoned by Chris Bledsoe. But if they simply gave the date, time, and location, I'm pretty sure we could identify every one. This show, like most UFO shows, is entertainment masquerading as genuine investigations. Yeah, I get it. You pay a lot of money to go on location. Looking up planes and satellites on a computer does not make very good TV. Recording things with 2 cameras to eliminate insects does not make very good TV. But people like Andy Bustamante and executive producer Brandon Fugel claim this is real, a real investigation. It is not. They seem to be investigating deliberately badly for some reason. Steve Priola here is not a good investigator. He later claimed to have checked available flight tracking data and found nothing. He shared another video of the same object looking in the other direction, but that one lined up too. He said, cross-checking the timestamp with publicly available flight tracking data reveals no aircraft in the area matching the object's position or path. But he did it wrong, or not at all. And journalist Paul Bevan just really isn't being very journalistic. It's just a funny investigation for me and Metabunk, but for a lot of people this is a very real subject that is deeply personal. Even if all the people involved here don't know exactly what they are doing, this show is essentially toying with the UFO community using deceptive methods. It's all a bit unfortunate.